warm welcome to everybody for the fourth episode of the Road Ahead Talks. Today with me, I have Mr. Jagdish Patankar. He is the co-founder and executive chairman of Active Sci-Tech Communication. This is India's leading company in the tech events, branding, and B2B media. With a background from Symbiosis and early career stints at very interesting places like, for example, India Today Group companies and Indian Express, Mr. Patankar co-founded Market Missionaries, which became one of India's top 40 advertising agencies. Mr. Patankar started the first research and technology showcase at the Indian Science Congress in 2000. In the last 20 years, Mr. Patankar has organized over 150 tech events and B2B shows across multiple industries, bringing international events to India and creating global partnerships. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Patankar has also co-produced and acted in Marathi movies and serials. Mr. Patankar, such a pleasure to have you on the show of Road Ahead.
Indeed, such a pleasure it is to talk to you, Vijeta. I am really looking forward to this conversation.
So I would like for you to talk about what is Prawaas, because Prawaas, according to me, is a celebration, right? It's a celebration of being part of this beautiful bus industry. But what, according to you, is Prawaas? Please enlighten them about Prawaas so that we can spread more awareness about this amazing event that happens, and we all look forward to it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a celebration indeed. And it is those who have not attended Prawaas to really understand the kind of energy, excitement, it is there. All the viewers, I'll tell them, whether they are connected with the bus industry or otherwise, they must come to Prawaas this year. Now, how Prawaas happened? Prawaas as an event happened. So, as you know, the Bus and Car Operators Confederation of India came into being in the year 2016, if I'm not wrong. That was the formation year. And you know what is the amazing thing about this association? They brought from across India all operators on one forum. So there are multiple associations. There are regional associations, there are district associations of the bus operators. And when you say bus operators, there are intercity, there's intra-city bus operators, there's school buses. School buses is a big segment. 25% of, I think, the buses today cater to school buses. Employee transport, that is another big area. And then even the car industry, where you call up maxi buses and others. There are, on the record, I think there are maybe something like 20,000 odd bus operators. I'm not sure whether I've got this number right. These numbers are just growing every day. And these 20,000 bus operators are associated with some association or the other. All these associations came together and created a confederation. And that was a huge task, huge ask. And what was the significance of that? The significance of this association was suddenly public transport became an important platform for discussion with the stakeholders, with the entire ecosystem, with the government. Now, it's a state subject and the central government subject, right? But this bus association and these people, they came together and they said, hey, we are in it together. And let's address the issues. Let's look at how we can, make sure that this sector grows. And whatever issues there are, the issues could be with the government, issues could be about the skill development, issues could be about understanding the technology better, bringing new ways of doing business, and so on and so forth. Let's learn from each other. Let's talk to each other. Let's support each other. And with that very positive intent, this association came into being. Many a times associations come into being for protest. This association is different. They came together to collaborate. To cooperate. Okay. And that was, I think, a very, very important life-changing movement, I would say, for the public transport sector. Now,
Absolutely.
during that period of 2016, even I had an opportunity to interact with Bus and Car Operators Confederation of India's governing council, led by some wonderful personalities like Mr. Prasanna Patwardhan, then Mr. Afzal Bhai, Mr. Harsh Kotak, at that time Mr. Rajsekhar, who
Yes.
was, he built that SRS Travels. I mean,
Yes.
such a phenomenal organization. He was chairman of that
Yes.
organization. Dharmaraj sir from Tamil Nadu, and so many other
Mm,
wonderful people. I mean, the list is really very, very long.
mm,
These people, I had a chance meeting with them
mm,
and conversation of whether we should do a awards program, because they wanted to celebrate, as you rightly said. First thing that comes to mind is, hey, we have created something new, let's celebrate. And
mm,
at that moment of celebration, we said, okay, give me a week's time and I'll come back to you with my thoughts on
mm,
how we can go beyond celebration and really create a platform for this sector to come together. And of course, I learned from them. I had a very long conversation. I tried to understand the issues and my learnings of working on different events, which are basically different sector specific events,
mm,
where we work with the entire ecosystem, in a way made me think that here is a great opportunity
mm,
to create a platform
mm,
where we are not just celebrating,
mm.
but we are addressing fundamental issues.
Yeah.
So I looked at, and usually with every major program, I look at it, three ways, 3 or 4 ways. One is whether this event can create a thought leadership, whether it can bring new perspectives to that sector,
Mm,
which can be life-changing things for that sector.
mm,
Second is, there be a knowledge sharing where experts come on the platform and talk to each other.
mm.
Whether there can be business, because at the end of the day, this is a business community. I
That's
mean,
right.
no one comes just to learn.
That's right.
There can be a strong business opportunity where those who come and connect with each other get opportunity to collaborate, do business. So
Mm,
whether we can create a business platform,
mm,
and beyond that, as you
mm,
rightly said, whether we can celebrate this
mm,
sector, which is
mm,
otherwise a very tough sector, and show to the world, show to India and
mm,
people in high places that this is one sector to be watched. This is one sector which is at a tipping point. This is one
mm,
sector which is going to play a significant role in
mm.
future development of this country. And with that intention, we created Prawaas. And you know what is the theme line that we thought for Prawaas? It is safe, smart, and sustainable public transport.
Beautiful.
Towards safe,
Mm,
smart, and sustainable public transport. And
true.
we were truly committed to that. And
Mm,
when with this idea we went to the industry,
mm,
they just, you know, they just latched onto it. Ashok Leyland, Tata Motors, Volvo,
mm,
Eicher,
mm,
uh, all these organizations, and the
mm.
technology companies, others, they said we need such a forum where we are not only meeting customer, but we can conduct sessions, we can conduct programs, we can talk to each other. And
That's
that
right.
is how the birth of Prawaas event happened. Even the name is a very, interesting. We came up with all kinds of India International Public Transport Show, those typical names. And then there is, in Delhi, there is a very powerful event happens for the food industry. And you know what is the
Mm.
name of that event? Ahar.
Aha. Okay.
The world comes together for Ahar show. India and world comes there to meet Indian industry. And I said, if
Mm,
food industry can keep such a simple, really Bharatiya Indian name,
mm.
Ahar, why can't
Aha.
we call our event Pravas?
Correct. Correct.
All
Correct.
kinds of Pravas, all kinds of
Correct.
travel. And that is where the idea of Pravas came into being.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow. It's so nice to hear the history behind it, right? Because these go back into the diaries, right? And in ages to come, these will be beautiful diaries to open up and read again, right? To watch again.
Yeah,
That where exactly did this name come from, and the people who were in the room thinking about what should the name be and how did we originate with it.
absolutely.
Amazing story.
Yeah.
So how do you think the youth can participate in Prawaas? Because a lot of people who watch the show will be the young generation, who have recently come into the workforce. Um, how should they look at Prawaas? How can they participate in Prawaas? What can they take away from it? How can it help them build great careers? I mean, any thoughts on that?
Sure, I would love to talk about that, but to give this perspective a little better depth, maybe
Mm-hmm,
I need to slightly elaborate on what Prawas event is all about, right? So, if you look at Prawas event, it's a 3 day show, okay,
mm-hmm.
which has exhibition is a very large component of that show.
That's right.
All kinds of you know mm, uh, organizations participate in the show. So whether it is OEMs, best of the bus manufacturers, best of the car manufacturers, you name it, all
Mm,
of them participate. Our founders are, Tata Motors is our founder, Ashok
mm,
Leyland is our founder,
mm,
Volvo,
mm,
Eicher.
mm,
These names come to my mind because year on year, there have been SML, a force
mm,
motor in the initial years. So many OEMs, so many tech companies, so many
mm.
new technology companies are participating. All the component organizations are participating into that show. And it's a large, vibrant exhibition where you see the new products being unveiled. So that is one part of the show where business happens,
Mm,
hardcore business happens.
true.
The second part of the thing is conference. And that
Mm,
is where I was talking about thought leadership and knowledge sharing. And, best of the institutions of India.
mm,
So, whether it is, I mean, there are so many, knowledge players, so to say, who participate, UICT, ICCT, then you have infra, and so on and so forth, WRI, all these organizations. Government agencies. One of the first institutions which decided to give us support was Ministry of Road Transport, MORTH.
that's
MORTH,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
And for the very first show, Mr. Nitin Gadkari came all the way from Delhi to, because we did the show in Mumbai at Silco Exhibition Center at Navi Mumbai, a very good convention center. And that is where we did our first and second show. And it was curated by the local organizations, Mumbai
Mm,
Bus Malak Sangatna and,
mm,
Federation of Car Operators. And of course, BOCI. BOCI is the anchor organization, and Active, we are the event curators and event developers. So conference became another part. Awards. We decided to recognize excellent work done by the operators.
mm,
So
mm,
we appointed agencies like EY, Matrix, and others,
mm,
and in a very very professional way decided to give awards in different categories to operators so that best of the world practices are highlighted and
mm,
recognized.
mm,
The popular awards of Redbus became an instant hit amongst
mm,
the intercity segment.
mm,
And personalities who have actually championed public transport in India
mm,
against all odds, whether they are from
mm,
government agencies or from the private sector. So
mm,
awards became another very exciting program, and roundtables and meets and whatnot. So these are the 3 or 4 key components of Prawas event. And operators come from across India, more than 10,000 operators.
mm,
4 or 5,000 operators come and stay for 3 days. And it's such an amazing experience because they come from all those 7, 6, or 8 different sectors that I told you.
mm, mm,
Just to pardon my repetition, but whether it is employee transport or school buses, intercity, intracity, stage carrier, as we call also one of that segments. It is maxi cabs and public-private partnership. Focus
yeah.
on public-private partnership because today this is a very interesting insight that while public transport is generally people think public transport means government. In reality, 85% of the bus transport in India is run by private operators, and
Mm,
about 15% of the bus transport, which is predominantly in the cities, is run by the state governments, STUs as you call it.
correct.
Correct. And the collaboration between the two
Mm,
is the key, is the way forward. So even that part is highlighted. So we
mm,
invite bureaucrats, we invite politicians from different states, we invite politicians from the central government. We had our tourism minister, Mr. Kishan Reddy, who came to Hyderabad for our third show, while Mr.
Mm.
Gadkari for our first two shows. So all of them come together. However, while doing all this, coming back to your original question of what is the takeaway for youth, that one thing very interesting that we have launched BOCI Yuva,
Mm.
okay? And there are two, three reasons to it. What is happening today is that the sector, we are seeing new technologies emerging. We are seeing new models emerging. And it is the youth of India, the startups of India, those who are not connected, those who, their fathers and family, nobody is from the bus industry. But
Mm.
they are the ones who have spotted the opportunity.
Mm.
They are coming in this business and they are breaking the rules. They
Mm.
are making new thinking.
Yeah.
They are coming to the program. At the same time, it is our desire that these bus operators who have built these businesses, and they are, some of them are right from one or two bus operators to 4,000 buses, right?
Mm. Mm.
Their next generation must take forward this business, because this business, as I said earlier, is
Yeah,
at a tipping point.
that's right.
Today, if we have 20 lakh buses in India, I mean, I need not tell you are from the sector, but for the benefit of those who are watching this episode just out of interest, what is the real need for the number of buses to take people from one place to another in India? All buses put together.
At least 100 times more.
Okay, that's a good expression, but it is something like we need 1.2 crore buses in India. China has that number.
Yeah,
They have same population.
that's right.
So just imagine the kind of growth that we are talking about, where we have to move one
I was
point.
recently reading that
Huh,
in China,
huh.
for every 60 people you have one bus, whereas in
Yeah,
India you have one bus for every 10,000 people.
yes, the actual ratio, if you ask me, is 1:7. So while in
Mm.
China there are seven
Mm.
buses, maybe in Europe there
Mm.
are six or five buses. In
Mm.
India we have only one bus
Yeah,
in that ratio.
yeah.
So just imagine, we are not even meeting 10 to 15% of the present demand. By the way, this is the present demand. Look at
Mm.
the way the country is growing. Look at the
Mm.
way people are moving from one
Mm.
place to another. Though this requirement is also going to multiply. And that is why there is a huge opportunity. And that is why, if today's younger generation of bus operators have seen the struggle of their parents, they have laid the foundation
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
their businesses, and they have an opportunity to take this business to the next level. And that is how BOCI UI is born. So
Mhm.
BOCI UI is a platform for youth, and typically youth in every sector, youth are different. In politics, I think youth is under 60, but in our sector, let's call it today's fourth, right? There is so much happening on the political
Today
front.
is a
But
celebration day. It's a result day.
that came to my mind. But typically, we are looking at this 20 to 40 age group, and we want these youth to come under BOCI Yuva
Mhm.
and participate in the program. Look at the way new business models are emerging.
Yes.
Look at the way new technologies are impacting this business, and learn from that, and come and network, come and showcase,
Mhm.
and actually uh, disrupt this industry. They can disrupt this industry. So to
This
them,
industry has huge
they can
space.
learn from
Yeah.
the experts who are going to come from India and overseas. They can actually collaborate. They can see the new technologies on display. And by the way, event is happening in Bangalore this year. So we have good number of startups who are going to be participating in the program as well, from different sectors.
That's
Okay. So this is going to be one great opportunity for the youth to not miss the bus, if I have to say this.
right. Jump on the bus right now. Right.
Yes.
And this bus industry is at very verge of that supernova that's going to happen, right? Because the travel in India, this industry itself is growing by more than 47% every year, right? So, and bus industry being such a massive pie sharer in this industry, has great growth potential, and the growth potential comes because of yuva, because of new thought processes, because of new ways of working, new ways of understanding customers, new ways of utilizing technology, giving services. So this is what UI is all about. UI is all about experience, right? So that is what UI wants, and UI will be building it for themselves. And such a wonderful thought of having Yuva as a center stage of Prawaas this time. And I really would love to have many more youths who are not even aligned or associated with bus industry to visit this event and see the vibrance and the sheer potential of networking, of building your own business in this industry. Right.
And this Yuva term became quite popular in recent elections. And actually, they divided that into, I think, youth and women. Okay,
Mm.
so this was another interesting I heard in one of the conversations on television. Uh, Interestingly, I would like to bring to the attention even women here.
Mm.
Vijita, you are in this sector, but we don't have enough women
That's
in
right.
this sector. It's very important. It's very important that because today public transport is one of the best ways for women to travel from one point to another. So safe, secure. However, can we deliver that experience to women so that more women come to bus
Mm.
transport? Not only
Absolutely.
that, can women actually participate in this entire industry and
Absolutely.
bring new thinking, new ways of doing business? There are, I mean, from 2017 to 2025, I'm already seeing transformation. I'm
Mhm.
already seeing some real bright young women, coming into the business. But I would like this number to really grow. And maybe our BOCI Yuva, other than youth, maybe it will be an interesting idea to look at how we can invite more women to come on the
Absolutely.
Prawaas platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as women enter into any industry, they bring in more empathy. And if women are traveling in the buses, you need to have women on the other side of the business as well to be empathetic to the other women who are traveling, so that the experience which we provide to them is more friendlier towards the women, so that the women
Undoubtedly.
understand what goes on. So what a beautiful
And
thought.
men try to see things in black and
Black
white,
and white.
while, while women see different shades of in between
different
black and
different
white. There are so
different
many colors,
vibrant rainbow
and that
colors.
diversity, that spectrum, they bring. They will bring that new vision, new way of
Absolutely.
doing things, and that customer experience that we are talking about. If they will bring, I think it's very important that more women participate in this entire industry. And I think this outcome is, by the way, of our conversation, this conversation. So if this year you will see focus on women also in Prawas, thanks to this conversation, I would say.
Wonderful, wonderful. So one another very important point, as I was reading more about Pravas 4.0, um, I got associated with this term which Pravas is now using, is Viksit Bharat, which is aligning to what the government says, right? So, would you like to associate this as well? Um, because associating this entire industry with Bharat as a whole, right? And how are we aligning to the overall goals of the nation, right? So we are one of these systems. We are the machinery, but our machinery works to align with the overall goal of the organization, and our organization is the country. Right? So, how do we align with this organization, with this country, with Viksit Bharat?
I think you have touched upon a very important point. In fact, this year's Prawas, our theme is, this entire public transport contributing to Viksit Bharat by 2047. Now, we all know the vision that we have by 2047, when we'll be completing 100 years as a
Mm.
country. We want to become the maybe number one country in the world, maybe number one or number two. And we are already fifth in the fifth largest economy, moving towards maybe third. And we will probably be, or the vision is to be the developed nation by then.
Yes.
However, one thing that is really worrying me, and what is worrying me is in this entire conversation of Viksit Bharat that I see,
mm,
and experts talking about it on different forums.
mm,
They talk about different industry sectors. They talk about highways and roads. They talk about 100 airports to be created. They talk about all this. They talk about sustainability. They talk about the entire railway network getting transformed. And look at the way government has made a big impact through Vande Bharat or Shatabdis and so many
yes,
new, uh, this entire railway sector is transforming.
right,
All these sectors, you are seeing disruption, you are seeing sharp focus, you are seeing quantum leap. Today we are building highways and roads as Mr. Gadkari passionately talks about. I think minimum 30 kilometers per day or maybe more. And
yes, yes,
target to do 40 kilometers per day.
mm,
Under Udan scheme, we want to connect more than 100 cities through airports and airlines,
mm,
right?
yes, sir,
But tell me, this entire Viksit Bharat that we talk about will be truly Vikasit when it impacts 1.4 billion people. And the benefits of this transformation reaches every nook and corner of the country. Now, this is possible when these great highways which are built, these
mm,
roads that we are talking about, this transformation that is happening, it is meant for what? Is it meant for moving vehicles or it is supposed to be meant for moving people?
people,
This is the fundamental question. Mr. Prasanna Patwardhan in his every address raises this issue.
mm,
Are we building all this to move vehicles or move people?
mm,
The moment we look at this thing differently, we
mm,
realize that, oh, the real issue is how are we going to move people? I mean, goods transport is one thing, but how are we really going to facilitate movement of people from one place to another? Because as you know, the
mm,
real growth happens when people start travel and people move out and connect. That is when the real business happens.
that's right,
MSMEs will do business when I am running a small shop here, but I should be able to go to the next city or next town and connect with other industries. And if I'm a farmer, I should be able to go and see different markets. If I'm a small trader, I should be able to travel and connect my network of franchises and so on and so forth.
mm,
So the real challenge is moving people. And to move people, the roads and the highways or the car industry, which is emerging today,
mm,
or two wheelers,
mm,
they are not going to solve the problem. Today, to really move 1.4 billion people, which is at the heart of Vikasit Bharat, will
mm,
happen only when public transport is strengthened. But in this public transport or passenger mobility conversation,
mm,
what we see is a focus on airlines, which is good, important. We see
mm,
a focus on metro.
mm,
Again, great. We are seeing, I think metro will be built in 40 different cities.
yeah,
But are we really seeing the focus on bus industry to the extent that it is required?
mm,
I would, I'm little worried. Honestly,
yeah,
I'm worried.
yeah,
Look at this issue of, it may appear a small issue, but I have been passionately talking about it. In India, there are 100 airports. We are talking about 125 airports. How many bus ports are there? Is there a one single bus port for 85% of the buses which move from one place to another run by private sector?
yeah,
Every other airline in India or every airline in India is today a private sector airline. It is
mm,
the airports which are built. Who's going to use these airports?
mm,
It is private airlines, and they are playing an important role because
mm,
that's how the larger players and big organizations can really bring in investment. So airports are very important to attract FDIs and large companies and global players to invest in
mm,
India. But
mm,
at the ground level,
mm,
if we are not going to say that if I have 100 airports, why
mm,
should we not have 1,000 bus ports
yeah,
in India? And 1,000 bus ports where private buses will ply along with public transport run by the government.
correct,
only
Right.
then it will play an important role in facilitating transport.
Mm.
How can we look at this entire public transport from take it look at it from the taxation perspective?
Mm.
The entire tourism,
Mm.
best of the tourism destinations today are crowded by cars.
Yeah.
But the real growth in passenger mobility in tourism world will happen. It is when public transport will become strong. And
That's
to
right.
make public transport strong, it is not the cash cow that we should look at it. It is a facilitator. It is a platform. We
Mm.
require a different, maybe taxation structure, maybe
Mm.
different looking insurances. There are so many
Mm.
issues of regulatory mechanism which are linked with it.
That's right.
So while it is very important that we realize that our focus of the country, and great that we have built roads, great that we are building highways, great that I'm not taking away, great that building metros, but these metros have to run effectively. Who's going to bring the customers to them? Where are these feeder routes? Where is the policy for that? How are we
Absolutely.
going to really create roads which are capable of moving 1 crore buses? And remember, one bus will replace 20 cars.
Mm.
If we are sustainability is another focus
Absolutely.
of Viksit Bharat, because again we are committed
Mm.
globally that we are by 2070. I think the clean energy and all those things that we have signed with
Mm.
United Nations and all that,
Mm. Mm.
the sustainability, the global warming perspective. If we want to bring down the carbon footprint of the country,
Mm.
it is transport which is playing a huge role, and only electric buses are not going to solve the problem.
Mm.
Because at best, electric buses or electric vehicles, the speed at which we are moving will replace maybe 30%.
Yeah.
Even in London or take best of the countries, while we say that metro has been the mainstay of their public transport, even today, passenger mobility, which is done by the buses, takes bulk of the 60% of the passenger transport. So
Absolutely.
we require
Absolutely.
we require investment. We require a completely different way of looking at uh, bus transport.
Yes.
And Viksit Bharat, according to me, is not possible unless the way country and the entire government machinery and private sector has looked at various other sectors. Probably, if they give same or bigger importance to public transport
Yeah.
and bus industry, then the real goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047 will be achieved, where we'll be moving people, 1.4 million people effectively, cost effectively, in a sustainable manner, in a safe manner, in a smart way, in a secured way. So, in this event, this is I would say, a highlight. We
Yes.
want to build that awareness amongst all the stakeholders and the entire ecosystem which will be participating in the event. And then we want each and every stakeholder to work with that vision as to how we can really address real issues to
Yes.
put this industry on a growth path.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a great amalgamation of the infrastructure, the policies, the support that's going to come from the government and the ecosystem that's going to be built around it to make this bus transport a very integral part of the overall social fabric of the
But
country.
one very positive thing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, more and more governments, state
Mm-hmm.
governments, are now collaborating with private sector. They realize that, like it has happened in most of the industries, the
Mm-hmm.
real growth will happen when private sector, you create an ecosystem for them to grow, and then
Absolutely.
the government can become a facilitator, and the responsibility of actually moving people will be taken by private sector. So
Yes.
I am seeing that very positive intent amongst many visionary leaders and the state governments and the bureaucrats. And in Prawaas, we are inviting all of them, and there is a dialogue around it. There is a dialogue on multimodal transport. So
That's
there is a
right.
very strong focus on multimodal transport, where this year we are inviting all the metro operators. We are looking at EVs, the last mile connectivity. We are looking at parking solution companies to come on
Mm.
board. We are
Mm.
inviting bus operators. We are
Mm.
inviting cars. I mean, car
Mm.
operators who are in a way playing an important role in moving people from one place to another. So this is the entire ecosystem. Prawaas is now
Mm.
transforming into India's flagship public transport, not just public transport show, which is limited to buses, but it goes beyond buses and
Yes.
it brings the entire ecosystem. So it's probably the only multimodal transport show of the India.
Absolutely. And I would really urge all the listeners, whether they are from the bus industry or outside the bus industry or the travel industry, uh, please do visit Prawaas. It's going to be a fabulous event. We, as an organization at Sciative, we have been attending it for the last two events. This event happens once in 2 years. So please do attend, and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth your time. You're going to have amazing business ideas to work upon. You'll have an amazing trajectory, possibly a life-changing event like what happened to to Jagdish Ji can actually happen to you as well. So with that note, sir, thank you so much for being
But
part of
one,
the road
one
ahead.
important thing before we close, Vijeta, we need to tell them the dates. So Pravas is happening from 29th to 31st August at Bangalore International Exhibition Center, the third largest exhibition center of India. Beautiful place.
Yes.
City is beautiful. People are very welcoming. The local associations, 5 local associations of Karnataka,
Hmm.
have come forward to support this event, to take the mantle of hosting this show. Of course, anchor organization will continue to be bus and car operators. This year, not only North, Heavy Industries, Ministry of Heavy Industries have also declared their support. Niti
Wow.
Aayog is keen to support. Three more
Wow.
ministries, urban transport, I think energy, and there's one more. So we are actually collaborating. We are demonstrating it through the event. So we are bringing government on board. We are bringing STUs on board. We are bringing private sector, public sector, uh, uh, NGOs, influencers, startups. I mean, I can't wait to be
It's going
there.
to be a power packed show, power packed 3 days of the last half of August. So please book your tickets. Please go to Prawaas. We will see you at Prawaas in the month of August. Thank you so much, Jagdish ji. Thank you so much, Mr. Patankar.
Thank you so much, Vijayata, for this opportunity. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you.
Same here.